Hello again. Welcome to Lesson 2 of Tableau Desktop Specialist course. Lesson 2 will be about exploring and analyzing data. In Part 1, we are going to learn how to create basic types of charts, like bar charts, line charts, and scatterplot, creating a map using geographic data, create combined axis charts and dual axis charts, and create a density map. Let's get started. Let's start by creating a bar chart to view the sales by region, for example. To do that, we need to drag the region field to the rows and the sales to the columns. We can also customize it if needed, like changing the color or adding the labels. For the line chart, we can create it to show the sales by month. By dragging the date field to the columns, we can expand the date level by clicking on the plus sign over here to choose the month, and drag the sales field in the rows. Tableau will sometimes decide the type of the chart automatically depending on the data types and fields used in the visualization. We can change it from the Marks drop-down menu from automatic to any chart type we need. Now we can see that the line is separated by the quarters in the view. This is happening because the date parts are viewed as multiple dimensions. To make it appear as a single connected line, we need to remove the date parts to make it as one dimension, and then change the format to month-year by right-clicking on it, select More, and then Custom. We can also customize it the same way we did earlier. Now let's create a scatterplot. The scatterplot is commonly used to visualize a relationship between numerical variables. To create a simple example of a scatterplot, we are going to look at a relationship between the sales and profit for each sales subcategory. So let's drag the profit to the columns and the sales to the rows. Now we can see the overall relationship between the profit and sales. To view it by subcategory, we can drag it to the details, but if we want to assign a different color for it, we can drag it to the color instead. We can also add the subcategory to the label to make it easier to read. Let's even customize it further and assign a different shape for each main category by dragging the category to the shapes. Now let's build a simple map. To be able to build a map, the data must contain location data, like location names or latitude and longitude. In this data source, we have the location names, and we will use the states for this example. So we need to double-click on it or drag it to the details. You will see a longitude and latitude automatically shown in the columns and rows, and the mark is viewed in the map for each state. There are multiple ways to view the data on a map. For example, we can view the sales by state by dragging it to the size. In this way, the size of the mark will change based on the number of sales. The higher the sales, the bigger the mark. Another way to show it is by coloring each state to indicate the amount of sales by dragging the sales to the color instead. And then it shows the darker the color, the higher is the sales. And of course, these colors can also be customized by clicking on the color, edit color, and selecting the required color formatting from the palette. For the combined axis chart, we can use the same line chart we created earlier. Here we have already created a chart showing the sales by month. Now we need to add the profit to the view, for example, to see if there are any correlation between the two measures. So let's drag the profit field to the rows as well. Then click on it and select dual axis. Now we can see the sales and the profit in one chart with two different axes. And to make it easier to read, we can change one of the measures to bar from the Marks drop-down menu, and also remove the labels. Let's create a stacked bar chart. There are a lot of different ways to create a stacked bar chart depending on your needs. In this example, we're going to do it using the sales by month, broken down by region. So let's drag the date field to the columns and change the format to month-year. Drag the sales to the rows and drag the region to the color. And change the chart type to bars from the Marks drop-down menu. And there you have it. You can see the sales per month by region. The last thing is to learn how to create a density map. A density chart or a heat map is used to visualize pattern or trend in a certain data with many overlapping marks. Tableau does this by grouping overlaying marks and color coding them based on the number of marks in the group. For instance, the color can be darker depending on how many times it was repeated in the same area. In this example, I have a sample data source containing an ID and a geographic points represented by the latitude and the longitude. So let's place the latitude and the longitude to show the map. Next, drag the IDs to details. And to determine the number of different IDs on every geographic point, drag the count to color. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video.